Hi everyone. Um, I'm back to tell a story about an epic dream that I had. This was a while ago. I graduated in '04, and it was before 2004 though, because it was before my senior year. But it was when I was in high school. I remember that clearly. Anyway, I don't remember anything specifically leading up to having a dream of this magnitude. You know, anything in my waking life that would have triggered it, but I'm not a dream expert, and I don't really believe in that anyway. So I think the meaning and symbolism in dreams obviously is different across cultures, I would think. Also depends on how you were raised by your family, what certain symbols might mean, even just individually, I think can be pretty different, the meaning behind it personally for each person. So, anyway, the way that this dream started is, at least as far as I can remember, I was waking up looking at an ocean around me. And all I could see was just an expanse of water, of the ocean, and I could see that there were people actually sitting on the water. Some of them that were sitting on the water like Indian style, and others were laying down, maybe on their front or on their back, sleeping in different positions. But there were people that were sitting upright in a kind of Indian style position. And that's how I was seated. And as I'm looking around and noticing all these people essentially kind of sleeping on the surface of the water, I looked up at the sky, and the sky, as far as you could see from edge to edge, was the face of Jesus, just looking down at everyone. And I don't mean that in like a condescending way, like looking down. It's just that that's where, at least the sense that I had from it was, that's just where his attention was. It didn't have anything to do with actually looking down on someone, in that sense. And when I looked up and saw that, I don't know really how exactly to explain it. It was as though, and I know this sounds like something but I can't help but think that when you start to talk about having a dream about some religious figure or a vision or whatever it be, that people tend to think that there is an element of like mental illness there. And I know that there are a lot of mentally ill people that do have delusions about religious figures. So that's why I'm hesitant to describe what I'm about to go into detail on. I feel like it's really easy for people to unfairly judge you when you've had experiences like this. They make judgments about your mental health, and so I feel a little bit reticent to describe it. But so when I saw that the sky from edge to edge was the face of Jesus, he started communicating with me. And the best way I can describe it, the best word I can use to describe it, even though I don't really know if it's the proper word, is like telepathically. I didn't actually hear his voice physically with my ears, but it was like some communication was happening on a different level internally. I guess, if you want to be romantic about it, you could say that it was like our, souls or spirit was communicating or something. But, and what I remember of the message was that it was that there was a reason for me being here, and that I am here to wake up some people, and I think it might even have been a specific number. I don't know. I don't know if it really, but I had the sense, at least in the dream, that there was like 2 or 3 people that I was meant to wake up. And I don't remember if there was anything else that was communicated. It was just that I was here for a reason. I'm on a journey. There is a purpose there, and that purpose is to help wake up other people. And whatever that might mean, I still don't think I really know what that means. But in the dream, after that was communicated to me, I got up and I was still on the water. So I'm standing on the surface of the water, and without even any thought, trying to think of who it was, like, okay, well, who is it? Who are these people that I have to wake up? There wasn't any of that going on. It was just like automatically, like I knew who they were, and I didn't have to decide or figure it out. It was just kind of an autopilot. Like I started moving towards the people that I was intended to wake up, and I know for sure there were 2, but I think there were 3 people in the dream that I woke up. I think one of them was a gentleman that was around the age of like in his mid-50s, I would say. And then there was a young girl, and I don't remember how young, but she may have been like, I think a teenager. And then there was another person who was a woman, and I think she was more, because when I think about the personalities of the people, I think that the man reminded me a little bit of my dad, who is a very giving person. He's someone where if he knows you and he cares about you, if you ask for his help with something, he'll be there for you. People have described him as, if someone needed something and he didn't have a lot, he would still give you the shirt off of his back. And my dad, is he can be a very passionate person. And my dad has always had a relationship with God in some way, or whatever you want to call the essence of whatever that is. He's been a spiritual person. So I had those senses, that feeling of the gentleman. And then of the teenage girl, I had the sense that she had a lot of energy, that she was very peppy, upbeat, innocent, in a way. And I'm not sure what other qualities. But then the third person was a woman. I think she was more in her like 20s or 30s. And stoic, I think, is the best word I can use to describe her. And that's really the only thing that stands out, is someone who's a stoic person. Anyway, I woke up these 3 people, and then we started, and I'm pausing because I think I remember also that when I was being communicated about what my purpose was, that after waking up these people or whatever, that there was there's a word I'm looking for that I want to use to describe what this is. There was like the hint or something of there being like a journey to go on even after that. So it's not only was there a journey to wake up these people, there's like a journey following that. So it's like your work still isn't done. So anyway, myself and these 3 people started walking away from this beach looking area. And besides myself and the 3 people I woke up, everyone else was still asleep in different positions. Some people were out on the water some ways. There were people scattered closer to the shore, and then there were people that were still on the shore, that weren't sleeping on the surface of the water at all yet. And so we're walking away from this beach scene, and we start getting into more of a cityscape. There's like sidewalks, cement I remember seeing, and we come up to a public restroom. And when we're coming up to the public restroom, I remember we make eye contact. We come into contact with this woman who had short hair, and it was like short white hair, I feel like, or it maybe platinum blonde, but it was white hair that I think I can remember. And she had a dog on a leash, and it was a very big dog. And I think she was dressed in just like black, you know, whether she just had a black long coat on or a trench coat or something like that. And for some reason, when we made contact with her, I immediately had the sense that she was trouble, that she had an agenda to stop us or hurt us or be violent towards us in some way. So we ran from her into this public restroom, and we all scattered in there. So I don't know where, you know, the three people went. I went into, I think it was just whether it was the men or women's bathroom. I went into one of the stalls, and just like you would expect from a movie, when someone's trying to hide from somebody in a bathroom, they go into a bathroom stall and they pull their feet up on the toilet, which is what I did. I was sitting on it, and I think I pulled my feet up onto the toilet, and the lady came into the restroom, and I think I remember seeing like graffiti and stuff on the walls too. But anyway, I'm sitting on the toilet with my feet up, and I hear someone come in, and it's that woman, because I can see her feet walking, and I'm pretty sure she had a long cloak or trench coat on, and I could see that, and I could hear the dog's nails like clicking against the floor. And she stopped outside of my stall, and then when she opened the door, there was just like a whole explosion of movement that happened. It was like she was in the stall for a minute, and then the dog was in the stall, and the dog was like jumping at me and biting at the air by me. And when I'm looking at this, the dog, like I'm seeing, you know, the flash of teeth and tongue and saliva and everything. And as it's happening though, I realize that there's something very disturbing about this dog. And what it is it actually has eyes that are all over its face. And they're in just odd places everywhere. And so I'm scrambling to just stay as far away from this dog as I can. And the dog is jumping and biting and in the air at me, like I said. And then I feel like a prick, like something has poked me or stung me. And at which point after that, I turn around and I'm scrambling above the toilet, because there was like a small window above the toilet. And which, it's funny because you know how dreams are. It's like, okay, well, I didn't have to open the window. And usually if you have a window that size, when you open it, it's like a turning window. So then you have like even less space to move through. But it was as if there was a window there, but there was just no glass there. And I pulled myself up through there, and there was like a hedge of like bushes in front of where the public restroom was, and it was in front of the window. So it was just some distance from the building where these hedges were. And so when I climbed out, I was hiding behind the hedges, and for some reason it was like immediately I was at least safer than I was. But normally that wouldn't make sense in real life if someone is chasing you like that. If you escaped the public restroom, it's like, okay, well, they're just gonna run out through the exit and they're gonna come around the outside of the building and start looking for you. But for some reason, it was as though as soon as I climbed through that window and was hiding behind the hedges, it was like the danger is gone and she's just not there now. And so while I'm sitting there waiting and I'm wondering what happened to the other people that were with me, and where I was going to go, I see this other dog approaching me. And at first I'm thinking that it's that lady's dog that was just trying to attack me, and that might have actually succeeded in biting me or something because of that pinch feeling I had. And but when the dog's starting to approach me, and I'm sure maybe it spoke like this because it's probably something I heard from a movie or something, but it said, you know, don't be afraid, I don't intend to do you any harm or whatever. So it was this talking dog, and it was a big dog. I mean, it was like the size of a, you know, Saint Bernard or maybe something bigger than that. And this one looked more normal though. It didn't have all those eyes, like the myriad of eyes growing on it. This just looked like just a big dog. And so once it said that and it came over to me, it came, you know, behind the hedge to me, and it was talking to me about how it was there to reunite me with my group, you know, the people that I had woken up on the ocean, on that beach. And, you know, said that I should follow, you know, or stay with it, you know, if I wanted to be reunited. And it was funny because the dog actually had me get up on its back because it was so big. So I'm riding this dog, and I'm seeing more of the cityscape now. And I remember seeing lampposts, and they were kind of like flickering on and off. And I remember seeing pavement, and I remember that there were large craters in the pavement of the road, and deep down in these craters there were people that had like bonfires going in there, so you could see smoke coming out from these holes, and there were people in there like gathered around these fires. And we're in what looks like a bit of a town or something, because there's a bunch of shops on either side of the road now. And as we're walking on one side of the road, we come up to this storefront, and apparently it must have been closed because we didn't go inside right away. We sat in front of the door, and the door was some distance from the outer wall of the buildings. Like some businesses are like that, where there's the outside of the building here, and then it kind of goes in a little bit to where the door is, to get into the business. So we were sitting in there, and this dog just starts telling me about how it had 6 or 9 sisters and they all died. That's one thing I remember. And the other thing that stood out really a lot, I remember when I woke up from the dream, after there's still more yet to come, I was petting the dog, and it was the tactile sensation of feeling its hair, was like, because it had dense hair. It wasn't like fur, you know, fluffy. It was like dense. And I remember petting it and holding it, you know, and it was such a strong sensation that even when I woke up, I felt like I could still feel that dog. But so I'm sitting there, and I think I, you know, expressed some sadness about this dog, like, you know, all of its siblings, sisters dying. And I'm trying to remember what order this happened. No, what happened after that was, whoever was running this shop, there was a man and a woman, and they opened the door and they, you know, told us to come in. And when we came in, I remember there being a bunch of TV screens, like, but they were not very big. They were smaller, and they looked like they had like goggles or something, like in cubbies, like next to the screens, like, or so maybe it was some kind of like virtual reality thing or something. And I remember there was music playing in the store, and it was singing that I am falling down, down, I am falling down. But it was someone that was like screaming, you know, like a screamo band, like I am falling down, down. And the music wasn't really loud though, but I remember hearing those lyrics. And I don't know if that is from some song and it was just like replaying in my head that night, but I remember those lyrics specifically. I am falling down, down, I am falling down. And so I'm looking around this shop a little bit at all these screens, and I think there were images on them, but I don't remember what they were. And there was like a counter where normally people would go up to, for their purchase to pay for whatever this place was. And I walked to the counter, and the man and woman that had opened the door that apparently ran the shop, they looked kind of like CIA or FBI agents or something, because they had the little ear thing here, where if you had a device, so you could communicate with each other, whatever. I remember seeing that, and I think they were even dressed kind of like what you would expect, like Men in Black or something to wear. And I don't remember a lot of the conversation. I think that maybe we were just standing, I don't know, there could have been a conversation. But anyway, my attention was drawn to the windows of the shop, and I noticed that woman from earlier who had attacked me with her dog, with the white hair and the black cloak or trench coat, was coming down the road towards that building. And obviously it made me afraid because I didn't know what was going to happen. Actually, now I do remember what the conversation was before I saw that woman coming down the street. Was the lady was simply communicating to me that I could stay there and, just stay there until my friends came. And somehow my friends knew, or these people that I woke up knew to meet me there, so that I could stay there until they arrived and then we could reunite. But anyway, so once I saw this woman that had attacked me earlier in the dream coming down the road, I think the people that owned that shop noticed as well. And they asked me, they're like, okay, well, there has to be some way that she knows that you're here. And they told me, think back, was there something that happened where she could have like put some listening device on you, or something? And then my mind, even in the dream, went back to the earlier part in the dream, like a memory looking back about her and that dog attacking me and feeling that pinch feeling. And I thought, well, maybe she injected me with some kind of, implant device. And her or the man, or maybe both of them, were saying, that must be it. That's how she knows where you are now. You're not safe here anymore. You have to leave. So I got back on that dog and on his back, and we run out of the building. And we're running down the street, and then as we're running down the street, it's funny because suddenly it starts to change. Like the city kind of looked like something you would see out of Armageddon when I was saying when we left the public restroom and entered the city, with the street lights flickering, and then the pavement, and seeing the craters in the pavement and smoke coming out of them. So they had like a look of, something you would expect from seeing, a scene from some end of days movie or something. But very suddenly, it started to change as we're running, as I'm riding this dog. Suddenly now we're in a neighborhood where everything looks like Victorian houses, and all of the houses are like pristine. And I remember seeing a girl sitting up on the balcony, and she looked like she was dressed from a different time period, like from the Victorian era. And I swear she was even like sitting up there on the balcony with an umbrella or something. But she looked almost like a doll, and she was sitting up there watching us as I was riding by on this dog. And And I remember there being gardens and lots of flowers and everything too. It was like very beautiful. And we get to this house, and it was as if the dog didn't even decide, like it wasn't like a safe house or anything. It was just like the dog knew that we were in danger of being caught and just veered off towards this house. And the house was open. And see too, it's like normally you would think, okay, well, did you get off the dog and open the door? It was somehow like just as the dog was approaching the door and got close enough, the door just like, you know, swings open, flies open. And I remember the dog running up the stairs, and as we're running down the hall, different rooms are passing by in like a blur. And one of the rooms that we ran by was like a library. And I remember seeing like tons and tons of books in there. And then, because what had happened is we like ran up the stairs, we turned down, we're going down the hall, we're seeing these other rooms, the room with the library, whatever. And then down here, he runs, and this hall ends in just like a window though. The window must have been open, or apparently in dreams, it's like windows don't have glass. And I'm still riding the dog, and the dog jumps out of the window, and down on the ground level is that lady with the white hair and that black jacket, and the dog standing at the bottom looking up. And she's holding up like 2 pistols or whatever, you know, at us as we're falling down. So she's here, I'm riding the dog, we jump out the window, we're coming down, we're falling down. As we're falling down, I see her holding the guns, you know, at us, aiming at us. And I don't remember if she pulled the trigger or if there was a sound of a gunshot going off, but as we're falling towards her, I wake up suddenly. And that was the longest dream that I've ever had. And usually when you transition from one dream to another, I think you lose some awareness, or something. And you're not always conscious of when one dream is becoming a different dream or something. But this really wasn't that. It was like one continuous timeline of events in this dream. And I swear I remember someone calling it an epic dream, when it's a dream maybe of a certain length or something, or maybe a certain amount of details, you know, they call it an epic dream. But yeah, that was such an interesting dream that I drew pictures of it when I was younger. I wrote parts down about it because I probably wouldn't remember it today if I hadn't retold it so much to my family and my friends and stuff, and then drew pictures about it and wrote down, you know, what the dog told me about having 6 siblings that all died, or 9, whatever it was. Yeah, it's just a dream that's always stuck with me. And I just find it kind of, I mean, just really interesting, you know, that it was a dream of such length. And in my mind, which I really can't communicate that this way, but such detail. And it was really almost like watching a movie, you know, like that there was a villain, you know, and there's a journey to go on and everything. And there's a whole story to it, you know. I mean, there's stories to everything, but this one just seemed particularly exciting. And at times like terrifying. But yeah, so I know that other people have used that word, epic dream. I don't know if it's something that's, you know, usually used, but does anyone else out there have any interesting dreams to share? Any epic dreams? And I was really fascinated too by the imagery of Jesus being there and some communication happening and whatever. So whether it be an epic dream or a dream where some religious figure has appeared to you, if there's anybody that watches this video and is interested to, I'd love to hear about your epic dream. Also, if you have had a dream with a religious figure, what was it about? Was there any communication that happened? Was it verbal communication? Was it more internal communication like I was describing? Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to take some time to share that with other people out there, and then possibly, who knows, in the future, maybe some family members could watch this. So, well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to my story, to a little bit about my life, and I'd love to hear about your life. And as I've said before, I hope that you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you another time soon. All right, bye.